Hello traders and welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 89. It's Iliya here, and as always I'm super excited to have you on my channel. As you know, in this video we are gonna have a look at the market, how it developed this week, what opportunities did we have, and what we can potentially expect for the upcoming week, because we had NFP week, the first week of March, and we had some massive movements, especially on Friday after the NFP release. We had some amazing moves, but overall the week was amazing. So I'm gonna show you the trades I took. Actually, I am sitting at a loss this week because I had very unlucky trades. I was busy with a lot of stuff, and I'm gonna give you a few tips actually on your focus, because if you're not completely focused on the market and if you really want to take some good trades, then you totally have to be in the market, because just a little simple mistake like not placing your stop loss correctly or making it too tight or just not entering at the right place can really make it bad for you, because I got stopped out by just a little bit and then I nailed more than 30 R&R this week. So it was pretty tough, but I'm gonna show you all the trades that I took. Alright, so if you're new to the channel, it's all about trading. I share this weekly outlook and setups every Saturday, and once per week I give my best to share an educational piece of content. So as always, make sure you are subscribed. Hit the notification bell in order not to miss my updates, because I am actually working this week on a free course that is going to teach you market structure in complete details, how to recognize it, how to trade it with entry criteria, with time frames, and with everything. So make sure you stay tuned about this. And before we jump into the video, I want to let you know that I've been messing with crypto, and if you're actually looking for an amazing broker to trade crypto, make sure to check out traderforex.com. Not only that, their spreads are amazing, that they have an account with no commissions, but they have the eco account, which for every trade that you take, for every dollar of commission, they're planting a tree. So make sure to check them out, go over their website and make an account with them, because their cause is really amazing. All right, so after this, let's see what do we have for this week. Alright, you perfectly know where we are going to start from, the DXY, because currently we are sitting at a crucial position on the weekly time frame, and we have to see if the market is going to continue this overall downtrend to the downside, or are we going to have a lower high in terms of a weekly price action and potentially continue down to make that lower low. Why am I thinking this? Because have a look at this big push to the downside, then we accumulated for a couple of weeks right there, then we created a lower low, and currently if you just look at simple market structure, like this area right there is your lower high formation right now, right? So currently the market is actually pulling back towards that area, maybe to create another lower high and to start creating a new lower low after that. If you remember, I have been calling this around 92 level for a couple of weeks, and we just tapped it this week. So again, from a weekly time frame, we are sitting at a very strong supply area as well. But then having a look on the daily, again going back to that head and shoulders formation right there, that indicated a reversal. The market just broke above it, created a high right there, pulled back a little bit. So we're having right there the 2nd of March and the 3rd of March as a little pullback to create the higher low. And then Thursday and Friday were that big move to the upside on the dollar that really skyrocketed. And we're having some economic impact on that, but I'm not gonna go into further details on that because we're price action traders. But currently the market created a higher low on the daily time frame, and we created this big push to the upside. So again, for next week, what we can expect, well, definitely I'm gonna start with waiting for a pullback. Where can the pullback occur? Well, again, a couple of levels. Every single week we are starting to actually have some impulsive moves, which is really good, because so far we kind of had some consolidations, some unclear markets, but right now we are having this daily high, a very extended market on the 4 hourly. So first of all, I'm going to be looking for a pullback. Okay, so potential retest area could be this broken structure. We can even go to this little candle right there that acts as a nice demand candle. And of course, the market just created a high. So we can wait for a complex correction inside that area, and then we can potentially head further. All right. So currently I am long on the dollar in terms of a daily, but first of all, we need a daily pullback. So again, if you just imagine the price, I would love to see around 2 or 3 days of the market pulling back to the downside, creating that pullback, and then potentially another leg to the upside. But again, keep in mind, where are we in terms of weekly price action as well, and that we might start to see a slowdown and a potential reversal. So as always, it's super important to really flow with the market. Mark your structure. This is your major daily higher low. You have this structure retest on the 4 hourly, you have this demand right there on the 4 hourly as well. So as long as the market stays above those levels, I will be looking for longs. Potentially we can also react from this level, because this kind of created a a higher low on the hourly time frame, but it's not really significant. All right. And if the market doesn't pull back right there, doesn't start to create really a nice supportive level, then I'm not going to be looking to go long from here. As for the beginning of the week, as I said, I'm going to be looking for a little bit of a complex correction, something like this, to potentially tap inside that area, and then potentially we can start heading higher, maybe for 92,500 as well. So as always, make sure you stay tuned for the Tuesday analysis, where I'm going to update you what the market is doing and what we can potentially expect. But having a shorter term short bias on the dollar, because I believe that there is going to be a pullback, potentially then we can make another move higher, but as well the market can create a double top and then reverse, because again, I want you to keep in mind that we are staying at a weekly supply area. All right, so crucial positioning of the dollar. Let's see what this week will have for us. Let's have a look at EU, which is inversely correlated to the DXY. So if you remember, I called this level right there that perfectly got tapped actually a couple of weeks ago. And as you can see, we have been consolidating around this area, consolidating. We had this big wick right there as a liquidity grab. And right now we are having this nice bearish engulfing candle on the weekly. Again, this is pretty similar to the DXY, because if we zoom in, currently we are just retesting this broken structure right there. All right, so again, in terms of a weekly time frame, this could be a higher low formation, but again, the market is not just gonna tap and create a higher high on the next candle, right? This is not possible. So I would expect, if the market is really gonna reverse from here, to maybe consolidate for 1 week right there, and then to potentially start heading higher. All right, so I really want you to keep in mind that currently we are sitting inside this area. That is a very strong area of demand, and that we can potentially see some sort of a reaction. But then dropping to the daily time frame and really looking into the most recent price action, again, this was really a nice fake above. Then the market dropped to the downside. We opened right there on the 1st of March. We had a little drop and we thought that euro is going to go higher, but then Wednesday, Thursday and Friday were completely drop days. All right, so this wasn't really a hard high right there that the market created. So again, if you remember from the previous week, we were a little bit confused about where the euro is going. Like, this looked like a higher low formation. The market started respecting it. It faked below and I was like, okay, then possibly the dollar is going to continue up right now. But then you see that it just pulled back for a lower high formation and really dropped lower. So again, guys, make sure that you mark your daily structures though. So for example, this right now is your daily lower high. So you go right there on the text and you do daily lower high like this, so that you know what this rectangle is for, right? Then dropping to the hourly time frame, you can see again how the market developed. It turned really bearish at this point in time, and then we had this pump to the upside, and we were actually looking for shorts right there, and we actually have this break retest if you have a look at this minor structure right there, but this was already kind of a little bit too late for me, 7 o'clock, so I didn't take a trade on that one. But it was a massive flush to the downside, so I didn't trade EU this week actually, but there was this opportunity that was really nice. So you can go on your charts and examine how you can actually spot this trade. You can see this sort of manipulation play right there. So the market first formed this bearish engulfing candle, creating a nice move to the downside, like then created this move to the upside, then actually broke structure, retested, and from there it was actually a short. So very tricky situation right there on EU, right? Faked above, fake above, fake above, fake below, then fake back above as well. And then we actually went for a structure. So even if you're trading kind of the spikes right there, the liquidity grabs, actually you could have been caught in that as well. All right. So then focusing on what potentially we can see on EU, definitely looking for a pullback similar to the DXY. Again, we have the same area, which is this one. This is when the market really moved from this area right there, and potentially we have this retest area. So currently the market is way too low. So I'm not going to be looking for shorts by any means right there, as the market is way too low. So, and potentially we can start seeing some sort of a pullback, tap inside that area, maybe a reverse, or maybe tap inside this area, and then to potentially go for the lower low. But again, keep in mind that we're staying in a weekly area right now. So we might potentially have actually a reversal, but I'm not calling any reversals right now. The market is perfectly short. So again, guys, make sure to have those levels marked. 1.20 for potential retest of structure, and around 1.20, let's say 1.2025, all right, as a potential deeper pullback that is gonna bring us into this supply area and potentially to see another sell-off on euro. Let's have a quick look on EJ, which was not a great mover this week. As you can see, we're having an overall bullish candle. However, it is an inside bar of the previous week. That means that we did not exit the range of the previous week. Therefore, we had an overall consolidative wick. And then potentially once we go to the daily time frame, we're gonna see this clearly. This is your market open right there. On Monday, we pulled back, looked nice for a higher low formation, right? But we failed to make any move. Dropped again further, but closed really bullish. So this is a really strong bullishness indication. And then the market for the 3 days actually kind of created those wicks, consolidated around there, which didn't move too much. And I'm gonna immediately tell you why. This is because we're gonna see a little bit later, UJ just skyrocketed to the upside, right? Here's the JPY. And then on the other hand, EU just dropped massively. And then Euro JPY is a combination of those two. Okay, so if Euro dollar is weak, then EJ would like to push down. But while USD JPY is strong, then Euro JPY would like to push up as well. And therefore, this kind of a combination of the two pairs ends up being overall sideways. And it is the same for Euro Aussie, for example, sometimes Euro CAD, because those are crosses, those are minors that are a combination of two majors. All right, and you definitely have to look a little bit deeper into the correlation. If you don't understand that, actually, let me know, because I can make a detailed video to explain how to actually trade the correlation between those pairs. All right, but if we just simply have a look at the price action, I can still see that we're overall moving up. This is our daily higher low. The market pushed up, pulled back, so we have some sort of a supportive level right there, but this is not a higher low. Why? Because we did not make a higher high. And basically right now we are stuck in the range. And if I drop to the 4-hourly time frame, you can see that this is our price action for this week, right? So the market created this nice pullback, spike below right there. So possibly there could have been a trade right there. You can see with this bullish candle, we had a little wick right there that acted as a retest. If I drop to the hourly, potentially, you're gonna see this break of structure and a perfect retest. And then potentially once we drop to the 15-minute, you can potentially take a trade from right there. So this is kind of the only trade that I see. And then potentially you can trade in between those consolidation areas, but the market just got way too messy. You can see for the past few days. Therefore, I didn't really look on at EJ. All right. So what is the market doing right now? So a major area that I'm monitoring is this one. As I told you, this really looks like a strong demand area because the market actually broke structure. Then we pulled back, kind of created a higher low, which was actually a retest of the previous broken lower high. So it definitely seems like the market is trying to reverse to the upside. However, we failed to break above. So currently the market is stuck inside this sort of range right there, which is with the resistance and this sort of support. All right, so currently on EJ, we are having a consolidative market. And what can you expect after a consolidation? Potential fakes. All right, so once you drop to the hourly, what we can expect as well, if EJ is gonna go up, then definitely I can expect another fake to the downside and a continuation up. If it's gonna go down, then possibly we can break the highs, maybe even break this high and then to potentially reverse. Or very simply, what we can wait for is for the market to break above, for the market to break above, stay above, retest, show us the higher low, and then to potentially continue, or just similarly break below, stay below, retest, show us confirmation, and then to potentially continue lower. All right, so this is my plan on EJ. I am not touching it until I see clear pressure. So again, be patient, have your levels, and let's wait for something to happen on this one. All right, next on the list are the Aussies. Let's have a look at AU first. A very bad stop loss for me. I'm gonna walk you through it. So first, let's have a look on the weekly. So as you can see, we're pretty much moving to the upside, and this could be a potential higher low. Actually, it is. Why? Because we broke this previous structure and we closed above it. All right. So currently, the market is actually retesting this previous higher low, and we can potentially actually have a move to the upside in terms of a weekly. All right, but currently we are in a little bit of a kind of a reversal phase on the 4-hourly and on the daily. So definitely we have to pay a little bit more attention and be really vigilant once it comes to the next week. All right, and as you can see in terms of daily, we had this massive drop that actually broke daily structure. We pulled back, we created a lower high, and right now we are creating a lower low on the daily. Is it a clear one? Well, not really, but it kind of broke the structure, which I consider to be a lower high, right? And so basically we can actually mark this as this is a lower low, so we can actually mark this as our daily lower high. And what I advise you to do, make a text, daily lower high, right? So the trade that I took this week, let me actually walk you through it. So I actually tried to take kind of a pullback trade from right there. Why? Because I saw that the market was really extended. Then we pushed to the upside, and this was a lower high. at some point, right? The market tried to sell off, but it couldn't and actually made a hard high. So I was like, okay, I'm turning bullish, and potentially I'm actually going to be targeting some of those areas because I think there's going to be a little bit of a bigger pullback. So once the market actually pulled back right there and showed me that rejection, I dropped to the hourly time frame as well. And what I spotted is that the market is kind of retesting these previous broken structure right there. So I was like, okay, that is a really nice place to actually buy the market. And then I got a very nice entry, but again, I wasn't entirely focused, so I got it with a little bit of a bigger stop loss. Smaller stop loss. All right. So let me just show you. I saw this double top and then I entered. Let me see. It should have been on the 5-minute, I think. Yeah, exactly. So after this structure got broken right there, I entered exactly right there on this move to the downside. Okay, so my entry was around right there, and then my stop loss was very tight. So it was something I actually got stopped by this wick right there. So I saw this kind of structure and I said, okay, I'm entering right there, and while the market didn't come back there, I was like, okay, this looks like a pretty safe stop loss, doesn't it? All right, it was a retest of the structure, and then I was actually targeting the highs right there, potentially expecting. Actually, I think I entered even a little bit lower because I had a pretty tight stop loss, and then potentially I was targeting really the highs because I thought the market is gonna create a hard high. All right, then I got tagged in. There was a very nice reaction. I was happy in that trade, but then what the market decided to do is just stop me out by less. Like it wasn't even a pipette, right? And then actually it broke structure and it came back again to retest. But I was like, no, man, I don't want to enter again, because I could have re-entered again at that spot, but I was already kind of pissed and I entered NZDUSD. And I'm going to show you that as well. And I got stopped out on it as well by less than a pip. All right. And then as you can see, this trade, actually, I was really planning to swing that one. It turned out to be a really nice, like 1 to 11, or it was even more because my stop loss was a little bit tighter. But again, you can see that don't be greedy. Don't try to place small stop losses. Don't try to get that much precision, because sometimes even such precision can not kill you, but it can be detrimental for your account once you try to catch the reversals and have that tight stop loss. It's not really worth it. Like, what could have happened if I just increased my stop loss by a little bit? I could have grabbed that nice move to the upside into this supply candle right there, but it is what it is. All right. And then I actually didn't take any trades, because once I spot that I'm having a little bit of a kind of a bad week, unlucky week, my psychology immediately shifts. So therefore I have learned for myself to step aside from the market, to really not try to revenge trade or kind of try to bring that loss back. Just step aside and come back either the next day or the next week. All right. So currently, in terms of full hourly price action on Aussie dollar, again, keep in mind that we are sitting at a weekly higher low potentially, and that we might have that reversal phase. All right. But currently, again, I really don't want to identify this as my full hourly lower high, because it's just one candle. It doesn't make too much sense. And where the actual move started is right there from this level. So I'm gonna keep this one. And as for the beginning of the week, I'm gonna see how the market is gonna pull back right there. Is it gonna create a lower high and then to potentially drop? All right. So currently I am sell bias on Aussie dollar, just because everything is pointing to the downside on the full hourly, on the daily, but on the weekly, after seeing this wick, we can potentially start having some sort of accumulation at the bottom right there, then a potential break, retest, and maybe then we can start taking longs. All right. So again, guys, it's not about forecasting or just telling me this is going long. No, it's about flowing with the market and going with whatever it shows you. All right. So currently I'm seeing sells, therefore I'm looking for sells. But if I see really the market starting to reverse, then I'm immediately going to be quick and change my bias. All right. This is AU. And if we have a look at AJ, again, similar situation. We're having USD/JPY extremely up. We're having Aussie dollar to the downside. And what this one ends up doing is overall consolidating. All right. We had this drop from the previous week, and actually the market opened right there, broke structure to the upside. So we actually had a long right there as well. Right, this is a retest. And again, go to the 15-minute, guys. Examine how you can enter in this one, how you can get into this trade right there. And this one actually did not fake below. So if I actually took AJ instead of AU, I wouldn't have been stopped out, but this is just stupid excuses, right? And yeah, then for the remaining of the price action on this one, we had this consolidation. But if we just quickly try to build a picture in terms of weekly, it's sitting a little bit too high, but overall we're having a bullish week. But again, it's an inside bar. It didn't break the high and it didn't break the low of the previous week. Therefore, it indicates consolidation. And as you can see, just on Monday, we had this bullishness right there. Tuesday, a little bit bullishness, and then 3 days of consolidation. And again, if you just have a careful look, we just retested the daily higher low. right? The market pushed, stopped for a bit, created a high, retested that, and currently we are staying in the middle between the high and the low. All right, so really crucial to see what's going to happen. And again, if we try to mark the structure, the market failed to break this level right there. Yeah, I don't want to drop a zone big like this, but again, this is our resistance. As for support, yes, we are currently reacting from this sort of level right there. So definitely similarly to EJ, I'm going to be looking for something to happen on this one. Either a break above, stay above, retest, and a continuation, or potentially a strong break below, stay below, retest, and then a potential continuation, all right? Because currently we are stuck in that range and there is nothing clear that I see, all right? So for EJ, AJ, and potentially NJ, we are looking for some clear directions. Don't try to force anything, and let's just wait for the market to show us something. All right, let's have a look at the NZDs, another very bad loss that I took on this week. I'm gonna walk you through it as well. So again, keep in mind that on this one, we are having this really strong weekly level, kind of reminds me of EU. You can see 2018, the market consolidating and then really dropping to the downside and not coming back for 3 years. All right, we tapped inside, we reacted, but then we went actually above. And what we did is, if you have a look at the highest point of this consolidation, we actually faked above it. All right, so definitely in terms of a weekly time frame, we can start having that big pullback, because you can see since November 2020, this is, what is it, 120 days? Not sure how much is that in months. 3 quarters? No. All right, so we have been trading for quite some time. All right, and it doesn't matter for how long, but we're trading to the upside for quite some time, and we can definitely expect the market to start building that bearish price action to the downside, to come and retest those areas, to fill all of that empty space that we have right there, and then to potentially actually rebalance and start pumping up. So this is like a really longer term view on NZD/USD. And as you can see right there on the daily time frame, we had this big consolidation. The market really nicely faked above it, right, to potentially trigger a lot of buyers in the market. And then right now we are starting to kind of reverse. All right, so I'm having more of a bearish sentiment on that one. Although right now on the daily, we're tapping into a lot of supportive levels. All right, we have trend lines right there. We have support, we have resistance. So it's going to be tough to potentially break below. But again, what we actually formed is a daily lower high. So again, make sure to mark this one, right click on the rectangle, daily lower high, so that you know what this actually is. And then let me just potentially walk you through my trade. Let me see where I took it. It was again a long, I think it was actually this one, this fake. All right, so I understood that this market has to pull back, and I saw the whole Monday it was a consolidation. So what I did is I again dropped to the hourly time frame. Have a look at that beautiful consolidation right there. The market faked below and actually found a level on the left that it retested. It was this one. Why this one? Because this is where the big move started. So again, this is just an interpretation of me of a demand area. All right, the market was consolidating right there, and then all of a sudden, big move up. So once you see such a level right there, there is a high chance that the market is going to tap inside and then to potentially reverse. And building that story, our guy Iliya wanted to enter along from right there. All right. And then again, I dropped even to the lowest time frames. Okay, so what I saw is the market actually broke structure right there, created a higher high. So I was looking to get deeper into the downside as well. And I was kind of looking for a double bottom and for the market to retest this area. So what I did is I placed my order exactly right there, all right? And again, my stop loss, I was thinking, okay, so at first I thought of placing a stop loss of 3 pips. And I was like, no, bro, that is way too low. And then I placed a stop loss of 4.5 pips, all right? But it seems like my entry was a little bit higher, so I got stopped out exactly like this. And I had a 4.5 pip stop loss. And again, I asked myself this question today: why entering that tight on such a reversal area? Place that stop loss 10 pips, place it 8 pips at least. Why going for a 4.5? And then as you can see, this was a pretty nice move. I had my targets actually, let me see where it was. Yeah, I was targeting a hard high of all of those levels right there. And as you can see, this turned out to be a very massive trade that I was actually planning to ride with, all right? So again, I am working on having those precision entries right now, on really trying to take one trade per week and to actually make my entire week. But again, this comes with other difficulties. This comes with stop losses like this, and it comes with some really precision and really focused. You have to really be focused in order to grab those trades. All right. So this is actually one of the trades that I took. Another stop loss by not even a pip, not even a pipette, and then going for a 1 to 20. But it is what it is. Going back to the analysis, let's see what happens right now. Very similar to all of the pairs, guys, all right? So we had this actually lower high formation, the market pushed lower again into that consolidation, but then all of a sudden we just dropped to the downside really nicely, all right? So this drop started from right there. So this is potentially our supply area that I'm going to be looking for the market to potentially pull back into. So again, very similar to all of the pairs. Let's wait for that correction inside. Let's wait for a lower high, and then we can potentially start to sell the market. All right. So I am bearish on NZUSD, and actually building that story from the weekly time frame, we can see that we potentially could have a really nice downtrend starting to form, right? So keep that in mind. Let's wait for that pullback. Let's wait for Tuesday, and then we're gonna see what we're. And then if we have a quick look on NJ as well, again, as I told you what to expect on this one, huge wick to the upside, but an overall bullish week again, but it's an inside bar, so we do not expect pretty much movement. In terms of a daily, this one looks pretty much bullish, all right? Unlike NZUSD, this one is still bullish, and as you can see, we're having our daily level right there. This is our daily higher low. Why? Because the market actually made this higher low and started the move from there. Right, so actually the market can pull back inside this one and react. But right now we're actually forming this sort of consolidation right there. And if I drop on the hourly time frame, this is the price action that we have for this week. The market opened right there, pushed a little bit higher, pulled back, looked like longs, then it failed to break above, failed back below, but we're just consolidating. So again, what do? There is our high. And as for our low, yeah, I'm gonna mark it like this. And again, what I'm going to be waiting for, guys, is for some clear indication of direction. All right, currently consolidating markets, what do? We wait for a clear direction. Break below, stay below, retest. Maybe we can target the daily lows, or break above, stay above, retest, and then maybe we can target a higher high. All right, so this is my plan for NJ, but most of all, I'm going to be focused on NU for potential shorts, and potentially NJ, if it starts to pop to the downside, this will be nice. But again, NJ also depends on UJ. So again, let's have a look at on UJ right now, and to potentially figure out what could happen on the other pairs. What is happening on EJ is really major right now. I want you to pay attention to those last two weekly candles and compare them to, like, have a look at the price action since June 2020. Like small candles, from time to time we have this nice bearish candles, but again, pullback, lower highs, lower lows, really nice. Then from here, we actually had the first signs of a potential reversal, and then right now we completely popped to the upside, right? So we're having a really nice bullishness, and I actually called that reversal on EUJ. Perhaps we have to go a few volumes earlier, for example the first volumes of January, because we had this break of a daily structure. All right, the market pushed, created that nice pullback, and this was the first higher low on the daily, and then we created a higher high, which was really nice. And then again we keep stacking the highs and the lows, higher low, higher high. Then I was calling that sort of a pullback right there that the market created, but didn't go as deep as I wanted it to, like around 104,800 was what I wanted to see, but actually the market respected 105. All right, and since then the market just exploded to the upside. All right, just exploded. And yeah, then going to the 40 time frame, I actually was calling reversals on that one, because having a look at this price action right there, it really looked like it wanted to pop to the downside. All right, potentially this ascending channel is what possibly some of you are going to be look like, a potential break, retest, and a continuation down. But no, the market showed a little bit of seller slide there, then it consolidated, kind of consolidated, and then all of a sudden we really exploded to the upside. All right, so USD/JPY is really bullish right now, and what we can do is just wait for some sort of a pullback. But again, I don't think the market is going to come and revisit those levels right there. We stopped for a little bit to create this kind of a one candle of pullback and then potentially continuation. So yeah, for Monday, I'm going to be looking for the market to tap inside to see how it's going to react and if we're going to continue. But definitely we are needing a pullback on this one. But again, I don't want to start calling any pullbacks because we don't know. Potentially we can see on the daily, we can mark this extreme level right there around 109, right? And we still have quite some pips to push until 109 before we really have a strong reversal. All right, so again, long bias on UJ. There is no meaning for me to say shorts, but first of all, our main aim is to see where we are gonna go long from. Okay, so first area that I'm monitoring is 108. So let's see if the market is gonna pull back into 108, drop to the hourly time frame, see how the behavior of the candles is. And if we actually break this one, then potentially we can have a break retest. Potentially the market is gonna retest some of those lower areas, and then from there we can actually go higher. All right, so UJ right now a little bit tricky. We have to just let it go for a little bit. Let's see how Monday is gonna play out. Let's see how it's gonna behave around those levels, and then potentially we can try to go long until 109. USD CAD still is afraid to make the move, and I think this has to deal with oil as well, because oil is popping to the upside a little bit. I have seen it, and then this one fails to actually continue higher, because you know USD CAD is negatively correlated to oil, and oil is positively correlated to CAD. All right, so they actually have an inverse correlation. But currently in terms of a weekly candle, we have again another inside bar. So basically we had a consolidative week, then dropping into the daily time frame. We just had Monday right there with a strong bearish engulfing candle. Yeah, it's not even an engulfing candle, it is actually an inside bar of the previous. And then we have 4 days of the market consolidating right there. Okay, so what I want you to do actually is to mark your daily high and your daily low. All right, and I want you to know where what is the range of the market right now and where we are. Currently, we are in the middle of this range. All right, so potentially if I want to go long, I would like to see the market retest the daily low to gather more liquidity and then to potentially go higher. All right, you can see that the market already retested the highs, and potentially I feel that we could have some downside on UCAD at the beginning of the week. All right, we're having this big consolidation right there. The market is potentially gonna break that consolidation to trigger some sellers, and then potentially from here 125, 200, maybe 125 can get retested again, and then from there we can possibly have that move to the upside if the dollar is gonna be bullish. And again, UCAD is more of a commodity pair, which is why I don't like trading it, but definitely having no bias right now on USD CAD. And again, keep in mind the daily levels, mark your daily levels, daily support, daily resistance, daily support. Currently we're kind of stuck in that consolidation, so definitely I need to see something clear, and I would actually love to see the market pull back inside, show me a reversal signal to take it long. But again, if it actually breaks above, if it stays above, if it comes to a retest, higher low formation, then actually I can take it higher as well. All right, so this is my outlook on USD CAD. It's all about giving it some time, because you can go to the hourly and try to force some things right there. But if you can't build the picture from the 4 hourly first and from the daily, then definitely you don't want to advance to the 50 minutes, all right? Because currently the daily is exactly in the middle. This is not a high probability place to buy or sell. The 4 hourly time frame is consolidating, so you don't have the kind of the trend in your favor, all right? So definitely let's wait for something, and then we're gonna readjust our analysis and strike it. USD Swiss franc is on a rampage, this one. Again, we can see after the market kind of broke this weekly structure, it retested it to from the upside, and then we had those 3 extremely bullish weeks. And actually, if I just drop a little line right there, you can see that we actually closed above this weekly lower high. And this is pretty major, because it might mean that actually the DXY is going to reverse to the upside. Because currently, if you remember on the DXY, we're tapping inside that weekly kind of a lower high to potentially create a lower high and pop to the downside. But USD Swiss franc is really showing us that bullishness and actually breaking above that level. All right, so maybe we are actually gonna have a reversal and we're gonna have a bullish dollar. Then dropping to the daily, again, we saw that inverse head and shoulders right there, but we had a clear break above and then a clear retest. So this was perfectly clear about this higher low formation right there. Since then, the market just exploded to the upside without providing us too much of a kind of a setup to enter long. Right there, possibly push pullback. Right there, possibly little push, little pullback right there. So this was your only chance to actually get long. And then potentially we had this one right there. And then again, go examine how you can actually enter into those trades, okay? Because those are huge movements. Go on the 15-minute. How can you enter right there? Have a look at that downtrend. Have a look at the break and the retest. Can you enter long right there? Is the timing right for you? All right, examine those things. Come right there, right? Have a look at that consolidation. Have a look how London opens and how it fakes below, right? How can you enter on that one? Have a look at that break and that retest, all right? Can you enter in this one, right? Examine those things. I haven't actually traded this one because I'm not focused on USD Swiss right now, because it's a pair that I just don't want to keep my attention at, right? It gets too much, but definitely there were a lot of setups to be taken on this one as well. As for this week, what do I expect? Oh well, pullbacks. All right, pullbacks. Potentially this is my area right now. This is the move where the move actually originated from. So definitely I would love to see some sort of a pullback and then a potential continuation to the upside. But then again, let's just monitor how the market pulls back, because it can definitely stop in the middle. All right. And unlike, for example, UCAD, right there you have the trends. And remember, the trend again is your best friend at the end of the day. So if you have an uptrend, then again, just follow that one. But I personally think we need some more development. All right. I think we need a clear higher low formation, a clear supportive level created, something like this, and then to potentially take it long. All right. USD Swiss franc, long bias. All we have to wait for right now is for a higher low formation, a confirmation, and then to potentially take it higher. Alright, here we are at the GBPs, as always starting with GU, and again just to give you a little bit more of a higher time frame outlook, this is again very similar situation to EU, the market creating that consolidation around March 2018 and then since then creating this big downtrend. Alright, then the market slowly tapped inside that area, which is around 1.40, and we actually tapped inside 1.42. Alright, this is really major right now. And we are starting to see some rejections right there and some bearishness kicking in on GU. So right now the question is, are we gonna create a downtrend? Okay, so let's drop to the daily. Let's see how the market is starting to develop right now. And what you can see is we had this daily higher low formation. So the market actually tapped inside and tried to give us some longs, and we actually tried to take some longs on GU, but not much success, I believe. And then you can see that on Thursday and Friday the market actually broke below those areas. So we are starting to have that sellers, okay, pumping into the market. Then dropping onto the hourly, yes, we had this long setup right there. It was really nice. If you can take a long from right there, the market pushed higher, but then what you start spotting is that it fails to break above the lower high. All right, so this is your lower high, the market wicks through it, withdraws from it, and then again another manipulation right there above it, and then it just created that melt to the downside. All right, and actually broke below that structure. So currently I am bearish on GU, and again, where is our major structure? It is right there. I won't get that big quick, but basically this is our lower high. The market really nicely dropped to the downside. So if I zoom in again, what I'm going to be waiting for, very similar to the other pairs, I'm going to be looking for the market to tap inside that area to create a lower high and then to potentially go further. You can go to the hourly time frame to examine how the market developed as well. Have a look at that nice consolidation right there. It started from the 2nd of March, the whole 3rd of March, 4th of March, and then actually almost around the end of the 4th of March, we had that spike above and then the drop. All right, so it was a really manipulative week. Again, we had NFP and the market is really doing those things, but right now we have it actually over. So it's all about going with the trend right now. The GU is going down, and right now it's all about finding the place where we want to sell it. First one will be right there, which actually is a little lower high on the 4-hourly, but if this one fails to show me the signals, then definitely I'm going to be looking for the market to come and revisit the highs again and then to potentially sell off. All right, so make sure that you stay tuned for the Tuesday analysis on Telegram, because I'm going to give you an update. But yes, overall selling bias on GU, waiting for that pullback. GJ again, very tricky because of UJ. All right, UJ is in a complete rampage and trading right now pairs like GJ, AJ, NZDJPY and Euro Yen. It's not really nice. All right, and GU is enough of a headache to be looking at GA and on GJ as well. But what we can see right there is that we have this high and the market faked above that high but failed to close above it. All right, this is pretty major. Then dropping to the weekly time frame, there is nothing too much on the left, right? We're tapping inside areas like this, and definitely on the weekly time frame we have been trading for quite some weeks to the upside. So definitely this needs to pull back a little bit. Okay, so with the bearishness that comes from GU, GJ can potentially start making that move to the downside, but it is not ready. It is not ready yet. We are trading to the upside on the daily, and a good thing is that we're failing to make a hard high on the daily. Then dropping to the 4-hourly time frame, we are pretty much bullish right now. All right. But again, keep in mind on the daily that it's failing to break above. We have the fake, but right now this is our higher low formation right there. Why? Because the market pushed up, pulled back, higher high, and currently it's retesting that higher low right there. All right, so for me, in order to start looking for sales on GJ, I want to see a clear break below, stay below, retest a confirmed lower high formation, and then a potential drop. All right, and keep in mind that this is a nice fake above right there that kind of gives you the confirmation that potentially the market has gathered liquidity to potentially go lower. All right, and then if we try to go on the hourly time frame, yes, you could have taken a short from right there. I was monitoring, but this was already Friday. A little short right there, but nothing too much. So again, for the JPYs, we come again to the overall outlook on the JPYs. We need to see some clear direction. And again, UJ is really high. So if UJ starts to pull back to the downside, this will be nice for all the JPYs because we're going to see some selling pressure on them as well. All right. So this is the planning, waiting for a break, retest, and a potential continuation down. Having a look at GA. This is a pair that I don't focus too much because it doesn't move nice with what I trade, right? But in terms of a weekly, we actually broke above. We retested a nice bullish engulfing candle from the previous week, but you can see again that we're having an inside bar this week. The market did not break the previous weekly candles range. Therefore, we can expect a move this week actually. Then dropping to the daily time frame, like you see that this creates swings. Swing high, low, high, big push down, big push up, big push down again. But overall, we are bullish. And this is our higher low. Why? Because this push to the upside broke the structure on the left and closed above it. All right. And in my course that is just coming out, I would try to publish it this week, the upcoming week. You're going to learn when do you actually identify higher high, higher low, how do you mark them, and all those details. So you really know how to flow with the markets. All right. And then basically the market pulled back, created a higher low, and then we are actually reacting right now. So what the aim could be for this week is to actually break above this daily high. All right. So where is the market right now? It is like at the high, somewhere in the middle. But yeah, you can see why I don't like this one, because it moves like more of a swing waves. Big push up, big push down, big push up, nice down, big move up, big move down. So you just have to ride those big waves. And this is not what I really like. All right. I like to trade clearly trending market, not a market that creates big waves like this. But don't get me wrong. I know some people that are experts on GA and they're really catching all those moves. So again, it all comes again to what you focus on and how you understand a specific market. All right. So currently you can see that in terms of a 4-hourly price action, we are changing to the upside a little bit, and this is actually becoming our higher low formation. So personally, I'm going to be looking for the market to tap inside to create a higher low and then to potentially continue. So a level to monitor will be 1.79 for a potential pullback, retest, and then maybe we can go for a high. And I would actually target around 1.89 and actually even above it, because if this market is going to create a higher high, it's going to go above. All right. So patiently waiting for this market to pull back a little bit, but again, it can just skyrocket from here, stay above, retest, and then to potentially go higher as well. Right. And of course, what it can do is it can create a little downtrend to tap into the daily demand area before reversing up. So always make sure to flow with the market. All right. It doesn't matter what I say right now, because on Monday, the market can open right there with a gap down. All right. And then what you do is you have to adjust and you have to see what your plan is. All right. But on GA, currently looking for that level for a retest and then a potential continuation up. And having a look at Euro GBP, nothing too much this week. You can see we're having a bearish weekly candle right there. But again, you can see that from right there, this is a big demand area, just right there. This big sell-off right there before the big move up, pretty much moving in a consolidation right now. So I am waiting for the market to actually tap around 0.85 before actually making that big leg to the upside. All right. In terms of a daily, we're pretty much bearish. The market pushes down, big move to the upside. That could be actually a lower high. And right now we are consolidating around that area, which is pretty tricky actually for the Euro GBP. Because yes, you see that we have this big move up that actually left this sort of structural level right there and a supply and demand area. We consolidated, we tapped inside it, but we didn't react too much at it. Okay. And if I just clearly mark my last lower high, it is this one, and the market failed to break above it. So basically, if we zoom in and if we just have a look at the structure, lower high formation, break below, lower high, another one, lower low, lower high, failed to break above the structure. So currently we're just staying in a consolidation, and the market has to make a move right now. All right. So definitely let's give it some time. And personally, if I am to go long, then definitely I would wait for the market to clearly break, retest later, and then to potentially continue higher. Okay. And keep in mind that in terms of a weekly, we might even go lower until 0.85. But again, Euro GBP, what is it? It is a combination of Euro USD and GBP USD. So again, it is one of those crosses that tends to consolidate when those two pairs are either moving together or kind of consolidating. So having that indecisive outlook on Euro GBP, guys, but waiting for something to happen, all right? Keep in mind that we're staying in this very strong area that the market can react bullishly from, but if we potentially actually break below, stay below, pull back, then potentially we can look for the shorts as well. All right, so make sure that you follow the market. Let's see what it wants to do on Monday, and then potentially Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday we strike. Really interesting development on gold. All right, so right now I'm on the monthly time frame. You haven't seen me on the monthly time frame, I think never, but I want you to spot something. All right, have a look at that bull run right there during 2010, 2011. All right, and then we had that nice drop to the downside, consolidation before another leg up. All right, and this leg up actually created a high on the left, and right now I believe we're gonna have that correction again, similar to this one. And again, if we kind of measure how much was it, it is like 41%. Okay, but don't get me wrong, this is again associated with a lot of things, and currently from the highs we have just pulled back to around, let's say around 20%, right? So in terms of a monthly time frame, we can expect a deeper move down on gold. Don't get me wrong, I'm by any means no expert on gold. I actually haven't traded it much, but just looking actually to buy the physical asset or in the form of an ETF, right? So currently in terms of a weekly time frame, we are tapping inside this kind of a weekly higher low. Why is this a higher low? Because the market consolidated, and then make a move up, actually never retesting those areas. And currently we are retesting them right there, and actually I was hoping for 1700 to hold, but we can see that it's kind of starting to wick. So currently we're sitting in that crucial area right there, all right, to see what's gonna happen. But in terms of a daily time frame, really simple price action. Break below the structure, lower low, major lower high, short opportunity, lower high, lower low. This turns into your major lower high, pullback, lower high, currently into a lower low. So definitely I would expect a pullback, lower high, and then a potential another sell-off if we just look at structure, all right? But keep in mind where it is right now, and we can potentially start stacking a little bit of longs on gold, right? Like in terms of the physical asset, because we have created that nice correction to the downside. And yeah, this could be enough actually for the market to start pumping up again, but absolutely we can expect even further downside. Not to say that we can actually revisit the 1500s, which I don't expect too much, but it can definitely happen, all right? But again, in terms of simple price action, if you want to go long on gold, definitely wait for a full hourly shift of structure, okay? Pullback, failure to break below, break of a higher low, retest, and then a potential continuation, all right? But currently we are perfectly trading to the downside with our major lower high on the 4 hourly being this one. So as long as the market stays below this price action, then potentially we are gonna go short, all right? So gold having an overall bearish outlook, but again, keep in mind that bigger picture. Where are we going over the long term? All right, so let's see. If you again have any thoughts on gold, make sure to let me know down in the comments. And as always, wrapping up the video with some indices, just a very quick outlook. US 30 overall bullish week. All right, we had a nice liquidity grab to the downside and a very nice bullish candle right there, so that is really nice to see. Then actually dropping to the daily time frame, this move happened the last day. Okay, so we actually pushed to the upside on Monday, then we have 3 days of correction to the downside, and right now we are popping up again, potentially actually pulling back into this big bearish candle right there to tap it and then to potentially go higher. But again, I would actually expect even another move to the downside before continuing up. Okay, and keep in mind that we're having a lot of signals for a potential move to the downside. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of things, reading a lot of things as well for potential crash, but it's really not for certain right now. So again, currently in terms of the price action, we are just breaking above the 4 hourly structure. Okay, so the market can definitely create a little pullback and then to potentially go higher. And again, for that pullback, I'm gonna be looking at this level right there, right here, around 1.31, maybe a little bit below, and then potentially we can start heading higher. Okay, so this is my view on US 30. Nasdaq is a little bit bearish. Okay, and actually we have a bearish week right there. So again, we can examine how much that pullback is. 12%. This is by any means not little. This is a nice pullback right there. You can see on average right there we're having 14%, then the market tends to pump up. But again, nice pullback right there. If I drop to the daily, we are actually having break of structure on the daily time frame. Okay, and currently our daily lower high is this one. We just created a lower low, so Nasdaq actually is pretty much bearish, to be honest. All right, And then you can see that this is your daily resistance. Then you have a full hourly resistance right there as well that the market is just tapping into. But I think this one is actually going to get broken, so the market can create a complex correction inside those levels and then to potentially make another leg down. So again, keep in mind that in terms of daily, we're starting to shift. So it's starting to look interesting actually on NASDAQ, showing us some signs that we're actually long term, we might start to drop and we might have that bearish correction on the higher time frames. All right, so not calling pretty much anything right there on NASDAQ. We are moving to the downside on the 4 hourly and S&P as well. I was planning to put some money in, but again, waiting for a little bit deeper correction because this is not much. 6% is not much. So really looking like for the market to drop maybe inside that area right there. All right, because this will be a pretty nice drop of 12%. And definitely I'm going to put some money if the market goes there. But as you can see, we have a long time to go there. And currently in terms of a daily time frame, we are starting to shift the structure. We can mark actually this one as our major lower high. And I'm gonna observe how the market is gonna stay below. Okay, so currently the market is pulling back. We have all of those major levels right there on the full hourly as well. So if the market actually taps inside, breaks structure, retest, then potentially we can actually go lower. Okay, so having that bearish outlook on the indices, and it would be actually really nice to see. Therefore, for those of you that are investing right now, if you're, for example, putting 1,000 a month, kind of how to say it, yeah, kind of slow down a little bit. Okay, so instead of 1,000, put 500. Don't stop investing, but just reduce that a little bit because you don't want to buy right there and then suffer that big drawdown. I did that with Apple actually. I thought it's okay. I bought it from 129 I think, and right now it's way lower. So again, be consistent with investing, but don't put everything all at once because we might be experiencing something really nice very soon. All right, and this is how I'm gonna wrap up this video, guys. I really hope you got something from it, and if you did, always leave me a comment below, hit the like button. It really helps me to see that you guys appreciate all of those videos, and of course I'm giving my best to release the course this week, and of course to start posting more educational content as well. I'm working a lot on my own trading as well because I'm going through some roadblocks as well, and of course I haven't made it completely yet, so you completely have to really focus from time to time to detach from everything, to start all over again, to go to the whiteboard and to really own it on your skill. All right, so thank you for staying up until now. I really appreciate you guys. Make sure you stay tuned for the Tuesday analysis, and let's have a crushing week.